Hi everyone, I'm Nod Vorro and welcome to Best or Worst Game Ever, a video game review series where we don't fence it and we definitely don't give out 7 out of 10s. Today we're going to be covering Mafia II, and unfortunately we're covering the definitive edition of it. With that out the way, play that overly intense intro and let's get into it. As with all reviews in this series, I go through the pros and the cons I picked up during my playthrough, and we give best and worst points out accordingly, where by the end I'll tell you definitively if Mafia II is the best or worst game of all time. So get that scoreboard on screen and let's begin. Unfortunately, Mafia II gets off to an awful start. As mentioned before, I played the definitive edition of Mafia II, which I've since heard is the worst way to play the game. With numerous issues throughout my playthrough, from this hostage having a horse face, this supposedly hardcore fist fight turning into cuddle time, and cutscenes randomly turning to black when you least expect it, I must say this wasn't a great way to play the game. Can you imagine just how annoying it is when you're trying to get into something, like watching an intense cutscene, listen to an important story moment, and then it just abruptly cuts to black? Luckily enough for Mafia 2, I'm pretty tolerant when it comes to bugs, and this ridiculous scene where Vito has half a head when he's trying to look suave in a mirror more than makes up for all the annoyances. I know I'm definitely dragging out the bugs a bit long on this one, but this deserved a point on its own. There's a scene towards the end of the game where Vito, our protagonist, is getting a scolding from Leo Galante, a very prominent mafia figure in the game, and due to issues with the eye tracking in this scene, he looks absolutely ridiculous as he speaks to Vito, and it just looks like he's refusing to look into his eye the whole time as he just stares off to the left of screen. Now I don't even know where to put a point for this one, but I'd like to think the real winner here is John Carpenter, as I can only imagine the developers would have had to pay him royalties for this, as all the Asian character models are clearly modelled after famous Halloween serial killer Michael Myers. Just look at this and tell me I'm wrong. If there was ever a point you needed to remind yourself that all video game reviews are subjective, it's this one. I'm giving Mafia 2 best game ever points because as I played through this game for our Too Long Didn't Play recap, it took me back to when I was a little bit younger, getting my parents to rent this for me and binging the entire game over the weekend. I swear every chapter I played this time through flashed me back to when I played this game for the first time, with special mention to chapter 10 where you have to sneak into the hotel and plant a bomb to kill Clemente. I remember as I loaded this mission up, it was just like I was a kid again. With that being said though, I'm also going to add a point to the worst game ever section for parenting. That scene where you go to meet Henry at the park and he's getting cleavered to death does things to a child. I still remember the first time I played that mission, I was in shock and angry for days afterwards. And all of those feelings came back in my most recent playthrough as I saw nothing but red and immediately failed the mission after this, trying to ram Mr. Wong off the road when you're actually just supposed to be following him covertly. Now I really don't want to be that guy, but the fact that the collectibles in this game are Playboy magazine foldouts is the most disgusting, vile, disrespectful and misogynistic thing I've ever seen, and not much more needs to be said on that. I know sometimes Mafia 1 and 2 get docked points for having open worlds with not much to do in them, but I personally enjoy it and respect the developers for not feeling like they need to fill it with pointless repetitive content. Mafia 2 does a great job of introducing Empire Bay to us as we see it for the first time through the eyes of a young Vito, which sets it up perfectly as this awe-inspiring land of opportunity. It also is one of the better police systems I've seen in gaming, with police chasing you for speeding and them not automatically spawning on you when you commit a crime. I also think it's pretty cool that random citizens carry concealed firearms, and if you commit crimes like robbing stores in front of these people, you might get more than you bargained for. Now in my original script for the Too Long Didn't Play of Mafia 2, I was actually going to be counting how many times jobs go south, as it seemed to happen a lot. And while I usually retire of these repetitive gameplay beats, there's something about the pacing and the quests in Mafia 2 that rather than be an annoyance, I would always welcome them when something would go wrong, especially towards the end of the game when the stakes just get higher and higher. Like when we completely destroy the floor of a hotel when our bomb goes off early, or we have to shoot up this Chinese restaurant as our meeting with Henry turns into a revenge chase of his killer. And all that goodwill from the last point is ruined immediately by chapter 14. In one of the most frustrating missions which really highlights issues with the checkpoint system in this game, we get into a shootout against Derek, a man who had our father killed, and his cronies. This shootout goes for way too long and doesn't have a reasonable checkpoint system at all, and all of it is made more frustrating because by the time you get to the end, you get locked in this warehouse and this fat fuck just starts lobbing molotovs at you from a distance with the aim of a goddamn NBA player. It is infuriating. Probably should have put a spoiler warning at the start of this video, but this game is pretty old at this point, so I would have thought you would have played it. In saying that, the ending of this game is brilliant. In a twist that sees our best friend Joe, who not only has been with us the whole time, and he backstabs Don Falcone to save our life, we think we've made it out with a happy ending as we're driving to the cat house, when all of a sudden we see that Leo Galante has betrayed him, after we just helped the guy. As we're hoping to drive off into the sunset, we see the car that Joe's in, which is in front of us, turn off route, and we can only imagine he gets killed by Leo Galante's men. And now before anyone corrects me with this one, I know that the canon is Joe survives this and he makes an appearance in Mafia 3. But you have to picture seeing this ending before that game was released. Truly shocking stuff. And to finish us off today, Joe says a line in chapter 10, which allowed me to give credit to a YouTube channel that inspired me to start my Too Long Didn't Play series.
But everybody in a room where it goes off is dead meat.
So if you like horror movies and better quality videos than this, make sure to check them out too. And with all that, let's take a look at our final tally, where I can say without a doubt that Mafia 2 is the best game of all time and you should stop what you're doing and go play it now. However, with that is a caveat that the definitive edition is actually the worst game of all time, and recording problems, issues with HDR, and a multitude of other issues nearly made me quit YouTube altogether, which would have saved you all from this video. Thank you all so much for watching our not so serious review of Mafia 2. Please make sure to watch our Too Long Didn't Play recap of the game, which I promise is more coherent and better done than this, and subscribe to the channel as we look to recap and review all your favorite video games. On that note, I've been Nod Vorro, this has been best or worst game ever, and you've been great.